subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notification bell.
Hi friends, how are y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brandy and I do all things health, fitness, weight loss, that sort of thing. And today's video is going to be 10 tips when you're just starting off meal prepping for the week. I've been doing it quite some time now. It works out great for me. I find it saves me money at the grocery store. It saves me time and my sanity after work. So I figured, hey, you know what? Let me share some of the tips I've learned throughout my journey. Okay, my first two tips kind of go hand in hand, but I would say the number one tip I have is to keep it simple. Don't overthink things, When I say keep it simple, sometimes when I'm meal planning for a regular week, I may make some stuffed chicken breast, and then I may have like a pasta with a homemade sauce, and then maybe like a casserole or something. Those are like 3 dinner items. However, when you're meal prepping, you don't want 3 intense dinners to be prepping. I have done that before with meal prep without regard to like what I'm cooking. I just did like if I was a normal meal plan. And I think I would meal prep for like 5 hours that day for a couple dinners, a lunch, and a breakfast. And when I finished, I think I even said on camera, like, I will not be doing this again. And then it dawned on me, there's better ways to do it and like reel it in and realize when you're meal prepping is not the same when you're just meal planning for a week and cooking it throughout the week. So be cognizant of your overall meal plan. And I like to do this by picking one dinner that maybe is a crock pot meal, or perhaps the ingredient is already prepared at the store, maybe like a rotisserie chicken or something, and then pick another meal that's more elaborate, hands-on. Of course, you can all pick all simple meals, but if you're gonna pick a more elaborate meal to boast up your meal plan that week, make it more exciting for yourself, then definitely keep the other meals simple. That way you stay out of the kitchen. Because I feel like if you make it too intense, it's not sustainable long term. And then when it is like your time to meal prep, you just won't want to do it because you're burnt out from the time before. So tip 1, keep it simple. And then my tip 2 is be realistic. That could be said for the first tip too, be realistic in what you're cooking, but that's not my intent of it on the second. That means how much you're cooking. For instance, you may say, well, I need 7 dinners, 7 lunches, and 7 breakfasts. Well, do you really? Do you want to eat 7 times the same meal? Or do you want to eat 4 times something for breakfast and 3 another? And if you could do that and you want to meal prep your whole week, you do you. But realistically, I find most people cannot eat the same thing all week on repeat. And if you say you prep 5 lunches because you work outside the house 5 days, odds are if you're anything like me, about day 3, you're sick of it and you don't want to eat it, and then you'll waste food. And I am proud to say in all my meal prep time, I have never wasted a single meal prep lunch, dinner that I've done. We've always eaten every single thing I have meal prepped. And so the way it works for me is I don't do 2 lunches, I don't do 2 breakfasts. I only do 1 of each. And for breakfast, I will do either three up to 5 days. But typically breakfast I can eat on repeat more, especially if it's sandwiches, because when I meal prep the sandwiches, I'll add a different protein, I'll add a different cheese, I'll add a different bread. So therefore there is some variety. For lunch, I'll just do 3 days worth, and I don't even eat them like back to back. Usually I'll eat it like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then the other 2 days, I just have a TV dinner or maybe some leftovers, or I'll go get something, or a bag salad. A bag salad is a great way to cover 2 lunches right there. And then for dinner, I usually do 2 dinners with 4 portions each, because for dinner it is my husband and I. And even more, if I do a pasta, we can get like 6 portions out of it, knowing that a couple nights I'll need to, add to my meal plan or my meal prep to make a rounded out dinner plan. We may go out to eat one night. We may pick up some food one night, throw something from the freezer in. Just be realistic on how much of the meal plan I'm using meal plan and meal prep interchangeably, and I don't really want to do that. So just imagine I'm always talking about meal prepping. So be realistic on how much of a meal prep you're actually going to eat. So that way you don't end up wasting time and money. Like literally just don't buy it off more you can chew. Make sure you're eating all your meal prep so you're not wasting your precious time or your precious money. And the next tips I have go into more of the specifics for meal planning. So the third tip I have is do double duty with ingredients. This I find is the easiest to do with your proteins. For instance, if you're gonna grill some chicken, say you're having grilled chicken burgers and it's just gonna be plain and simple, throw some extra chicken breast on there, season them up with some fajita seasoning, and then you can have chicken fajita bowls later, or add some teriyaki sauce, and then you can make a bowl around that. Anytime you're dealing with meat, I feel like it's good to double it so that way you have it later in the week. Ground hamburger meat, say you're sauteing that and you know you're going to make tacos. Well, take some of it, saute it all together, take some out, make your tacos, and the other you can have like hamburger salads throughout the week. There's so much you can do with protein like that just to make double duty, makes your dishes less, it makes your cost less, and it makes your overall cook time way less. And protein's not the only items I suggest doing double duty. Also on your like carbs and grains, like if you're having pasta one night, yeah, you may not want pasta again, but it doesn't have to be the base. It can just be like a side, you know, you can turn it into a mac and cheese. If you're doing broccoli, you could do roasted broccoli and then like a broccoli and rice casserole. You know, there's a lot of ways. Just make your ingredients do double duty and work for you. And to really execute this, you just need to have a good meal plan and sit down and plan it out. So that way you don't just wing it at the store and end up with a million ingredients. And my fourth tip, and one I do fairly often, is use convenience items. Not everything needs to be made from scratch. Yes, it's probably healthier. Yes, it's probably cheaper. But if you're anything like me and you're busy and you're on the go, and if you can afford to use the convenience items, I highly suggest it. For instance, I hardly ever make rice anymore. I found that the bags, steamable, especially the ones from Trader Joe's, they're delicious. I don't even tell they're not fresh rice. And the cost isn't that substantial. So I find I use those all the time. Another thing is frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables have come a long way. They're way better than they used to be. And that saves you the prep time from the vegetables. Oh, what's another convenient item? Oh, rotisserie chicken. Hands down, rotisserie chicken is a staple in this house. Has been for years. I can change it into 1,000,001 items. I can use it just for a protein and salad. I can make chicken salad. I can make tacos out of it. I can make, sometimes, most of the time, I just break it down and I'm eating the breast and my husband's eating the thigh and the leg. I add a grain, a starch, and then a fresh vegetable, and that is a done deal. It's super, super easy. Another thing you could do, you could buy the convenience, like the pre-chopped peppers and onions, like in the produce case. I typically don't do that because I feel like the price increase on those is so substantial that I'm not willing to spend the money on that. But hey, you do you. If you like buying the pre-cut vegetables and the produce, go for it. Anything to keep it simple for you. And those items are convenient. I'm just too cheap. My fifth tip is to do some prep that involves no cook. Now, this can be somewhat difficult. I have the most success on breakfast and lunch as opposed to dinner. But really, you need to think about everything you eat for breakfast and lunch, you can also eat for dinner and vice versa. It's just like retraining your brain to think what's correct to eat at what times. But when I say this no cook, I mean for breakfast that week. So say you just don't have time to cook that much, to cook 2 dinners and a breakfast and with a lunch. So your breakfast that week may be some protein cereal, maybe some yogurt bowls with some fresh fruit in it, some granola, that sort of thing. I've even done banana sliced up with PB2, which is an alternate for peanut butter, and put some cocoa nibs. It was delicious and kept me fairly full. You could buy some muffins. I mean, there's tons of ways to do no-cook breakfast. Another one I do fairly often is no-cook lunch. I'm really big on building sandwich boxes. I make just the simplest of sandwiches, and then I cut up some fruit and vegetables and add it to my other side. You've seen those a million times, and even when I do that, I typically do portions of 3. I find about that's how many I like to eat throughout the week. Another no-cook lunch is salads. You can make salads for days, and once you have a lot of salad ingredients on hand, and if you store them right, you can save them and use them for like a long time. Like my radishes, they've been in my refrigerator probably a month and they're perfectly a-okay. What's another no cook? Oh, snack plates, tuna salad, chicken salad sandwiches, like from the canned tuna. No cook. I consider TV dinners no cook. Microwave doesn't count in this household for that. So every once in a while, like if I know it's a really busy weekend and I don't have time to prep my full prep, breakfast, lunch, and 2 dinners, I will very easily change out that lunch real quick for a more simpler no cook item. And the reason I think I do that, because if I had that no cook item for the dinner, say I was like, well, I'm just going to eat a sandwich for dinner, I'm way more likely to call off that meal prep and not eat that one in the evening when I have the availability and like I'm already in the car or coming home from work. I will stop somewhere, or I would, at least in my mind, that's what I think would happen. Whereas if I'm at work, the meals I don't really want, or if they're not that spectacular, I'm going to eat it because I'm way too busy at work to like nip out to go get lunch most of the days. Like I have to like put it on my plan. Oh, I'm going to treat myself and go get kava or something like that. So that's a real big reason why I put the lunch menu as the easiest meal, the one I'll change out and not cook first as opposed to dinner. That's just me, my personal preference. And another tip I have is repurposing leftovers. This can be leftover rice. Say you made chicken and rice casserole and you made too much rice, or you made it intentionally so you would have leftover rice. Fry that rice up and make chicken fried rice for your meal prep. Same thing, anything you have leftovers. I can have the least little bit of grilled chicken left, rotisserie chicken. We went out to barbecue a few weeks ago and I'm talking palm of my hand, little bit of brisket. I loaded it up, I brought it home, I chopped it up with some barbecue sauce, put it on a potato, and had stuffed baked potato that next week. So use all leftovers, no matter what it is. Even if it's some vegetables, I am quick. If I have some leftover broccoli, whatever I'm cooking, that broccoli goes directly in there. We are a no waste household. I would say on average, we throw away food less than 1% of the time. We seriously do not waste anything here. Luckily for me, if something is going bad, sometimes cucumbers go bad quickly for me, even when I store them, what I consider appropriate really. They all tend to go bad. My dogs love them, so I'll give them to them. Or I have some neighbor donkeys, and they're like my garbage disposal. So if I have a little bit of greens going bad or something like that, they'll help me out there. So, but overall, we do not waste in this house, and I do contribute that to meal planning right and meal prepping correctly. I really, really think that helps because I don't go to the grocery store without a plan and bring a lot of stuff home that can then be wasted. But it's also, say I was at the farmer's market and I picked up a pineapple, or that's not a great, I can't make a great example. Say I picked up a pineapple and we used it just to eat some fruit and it's going bad. Before it goes bad, I'll be like, well, this is a little mushy to eat straight up, but I will throw it on the grill where it's already going to get tender and then make like some Hawaiian bowls or something like that. Even the other day when I was making some pasta and I had a jar of pasta sauce, but I had these probably like 6 cherry tomatoes left. Seen their better day, throw them right into that pasta sauce. Just, waste not in this house. And the real reason I don't like to waste, not only because I don't like wasting my money, is I'm also like, I think about how many people in the world are hungry kind of deal. So that kind of always makes me think we better eat that. Another common way I repurpose leftovers, if we have some chicken left over and it's like the pulled chicken that I deboned a chicken, but it's not that much, I'll turn that into chicken and rice or some type of soup. You can come up with ways. If you just Google like, use my leftovers, leftover beef or something like that, it's really easy. Anything can turn into a quesadilla, I swear. And that is when you don't have time to meal prep, prep your ingredients, or even when you have time to meal prep. This is just a tip overall for staying on track. For instance, every time I buy fruit, when I come home, I wash it, I clean it, I store it how it's supposed to be stored. And that's just a habit. Because if you do that, you're more likely to, in the reach for that food, eat that food and waste less, right? Therefore, wasting less money. Do the same thing for your vegetables. If you know you get home from the grocery store and you have an extra 10 minutes, go ahead and chop those onions, those cucumbers for whatever recipes. And that way on prep day, you're not having to do it. I do that often if I get like Home Chef or meal delivery. I will take all the vegetables out, all the ingredients that need prep, and I do it straight off the bat, knowing I'm not going to pre-prepare those meals, but the night it comes to cooking, it just speeds it up for the rest of the night. So I take an extra time on the first night of cooking to set me up for success later in the week. My 8th tip is set a schedule. Yes, it takes effort to meal plan and prep, but just get in the habit. I mean, typically people do it on the weekend, but if you work at home, maybe you can do it like Monday after work when the grocery store is less busy or whatever. So just set a plan. Say like Friday night, I'm gonna meal plan, and then Saturday, I'm gonna go get my groceries. Maybe you order your groceries Friday night, and then Saturday you pick them up and you hit the door prepping that day. But to me, consistency is key. You gotta like make the plan and stick to it. And also, when you're planning out what meals you're going to have, yeah, I said keep it simple, but also consider how your next week's looking. If you know you have movies out the wazoo, or maybe your kids have like late night games, again, be realistic on what you can do. Your time is valuable, and so set a routine, try to stick with it, but also know when that routine needs to be broken and you need to look somewhere else. And so with that comes my 9th tip, and that is cheat. Just straight up cheat. You don't have to do crap. You don't have to go get convenience items. You don't have to do anything. There are so many ways to eat prepped that doesn't involve you. You can, well, it involves you to some extent. You got to pay for it and go get it or order it. So there's so many companies. I especially like Factor. If we are Factor, to me is too expensive for me to order on the regular, especially when it's like feeding me and my husband. So Factor, I find that they are delicious, but just out of my budget for like week to week to week. But if we're traveling and we know we're coming home late on a Sunday or a Monday, and I know I'm not going to have time to meal prep and I'm going to be exhausted, I will order Factor. I've only done it probably like 4 or 5 times in the last year or so, but that works for me. Another way to cheat is Costco. Costco has like near the rotisserie chicken. They have taco kits. They have stuffed peppers. Their chili is bomb. What else do they have? They rotate it. They have pinwheels. They have sandwiches. Hero kits, whatever those shaved meats are. And I've heard they're good. I haven't tried it. They have some like Asian salads. They just have tons, and it's not super expensive either. We particularly like one of the sides there. Oh, what is it? It's a quinoa salad. It's been out of season for a while. We're hoping it comes back. But we would just do like rotisserie chicken and that quinoa salad, and that is like plenty for us with like maybe a pita bread. Another way to cheat is restaurants are starting to do like, well, they've always done family style, but I feel like they're doing it more knowing what you're using it for. For instance, Chipotle hack. I've seen that one so many times. You order from Chipotle and then you break it all down to your own meal prep. Panda Express is another place I've heard people doing it. Olive Garden, if you're not really looking to lose weight like I am, and that'd be kind of hard at Olive Garden. What's this steakhouse? Not Logan's, but the other one. Oh, Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse has something where you get like family style, and it is salad, chicken tenders, and then 2 sides. A barbecue place is another place. So that's cheating. When you know you can't make it work, you know, it may not be the healthiest, but like not everyone's on a weight loss journey. I totally understand that. But even doing that is probably better than eating out fried food or ordering pizza every night. If you do it right, especially at like Chipotle or Panda Express, has great health options as well. And my final tip, which is a really easy one, it's kind of obvious, is be prepared to store all your food. You have to have ample refrigerator space. You have to have containers conducive to what you're cooking. And I don't have, I mean, I have plenty, but say if I did 2 dinners that required all like 6 portions in individual containers, I don't have a lot of matching 6 containers except for these like bowls I have. So a lot of times I try to do one meal that's like in a casserole and we leave it in the casserole because we're eating it at home. And then like a soup or something like that because I just don't have room to store all that. I do have an outside refrigerator that helps. But I've actually, a girlfriend was telling me the other day, like she meal prepped for the first time and she bit off more than she can chew and meal prepped way too much. She literally could not store it, like could not store it. We laughed so hard. She said it just never even dawned on me with what she had in her refrigerator. We keep 2 different types of refrigerator. If you look at hers, it's like full every day, right? But she does have a kid. Mine is, we look at it and most people are like, does anyone live here? No. I mean, we have to me it's normal, but to other people, when I open up the refrigerator and it's like just a wall of stuff, I'm like, how can you find anything? But we don't overbuy a lot too. So those are my 10 tips. I personally think it saves me a lot of valuable time and sanity during the week. I work about an hour from my home. And so during the week, by the time my hours have been longer and longer at work, just more to do. I think when you progress in your career, that's the downfall, right? Make more money, but you're working harder. But by the time I get home, sometimes it's 7 o'clock at night and I try to exercise. So getting in an exercise and cooking is just not feasible. So even when I don't meal prep, I always do double duty with leftovers. I at least make 2 or 3 meals that week that I can get leftover from. And that's another thing. You don't have to meal prep it all at once. Okay, friends. So those are all my tips for meal prepping success. Let me know if you have any questions or you like this type of video. I'm constantly trying to do tips because I like to watch them as well. Okay, bye friends.